I cut the walnut shell all around, careful not to touch the walnut inside. We have to know the orientation of the walnut inside the shell first. Then we should be able to crack the walnut and extract halves from it. The shell of the walnut is very hard and made from two halves that have a seam between them. When you try to crack a walnut, it usually breaks along the seam because it is weaker than the rest. So here it is. The walnut half is offset with respect to the shell. The shell seam is at the center of the walnut half. I buy my walnuts from the grocery store, and by the time I get them they're not that fresh. Because of that they're harder to crack. So, this is the walnut seam, and based on how the walnut is inside, the best is to try and crack the shell on the flat part. I prefer to use a hammer because it's easier on my hands, and I use many walnuts in each recipe. The whole idea is to crack the shell at a 90-degree angle with respect of the seam of the walnut shell. Then when you open the walnut you have one half in each half shell. This way, it is more likely that you can extract the walnut halves intact. I say this because they're very delicate and can get broken easily. Based on my initial success, I decided to proceed this way to extract the walnut halves. I like to use them to decorate desserts or make candy out of it. I got about 50% success rate in extracting the halves from the shell. I tried other ways to crack the walnuts. By using this scissors that has a part one can use as a nut cracker. I was able to crack the shell. Unfortunately, the walnut inside got broken into quarter pieces, not halves. Another method is to insert a knife into the seam of the walnut shell. This part is weaker than the rest, so you can open the shell in two. You may be able to get walnut halves. Unfortunately, this did not happen for me. So, I decided to stick to my method of cracking the walnut shell with a hammer.